Have you ever walked into a room and felt every head turned toward you without saying a single word? Why your entrance seems to change the energy in a room? That's not a coincidence. It's your aura, the invisible energy field that surrounds your body. And when your aura is powerful, people feel it, whether they understand it or not. In spiritual traditions around the world, your aura reflects the state of your mind, body, and soul. It shows your frequency, your light, your inner power. This message is for the souls who've always felt like they don't quite belong, not because they lack something, but because they carry too much divine fire, a sacred frequency, a presence that vibrates higher than most are used to. Your energy speaks before your lips do. It walks ahead of you, clearing paths and revealing truths. Only the awakened will recognize its language. You see, when your spirit has risen, when you've healed from wounds others still pretend don't exist, when you've turned heartbreak into wisdom, you move differently. You walk with purpose. You speak with depth. Your silence carries the wisdom of lifetimes. Your presence alone invites others to face their truth, even when they're not ready. And yes, some will be inspired, others will misunderstand. They'll say you're intimidating, but really, they just haven't met someone who stands rooted in their truth without needing approval. They'll say you're distant, but you're simply guarding your peace. They'll say you're intense, when what they truly mean is, you awaken something sacred in me that I've tried to forget. That is the nature of real power. It doesn't ask for permission, it doesn't shrink to be accepted, and when it flows through you effortlessly, in your walk, in your stillness, in your choices, and in your clarity, you begin to notice the signs. Eyes that linger, but lips that stay silent. People who feel seen in your presence, but can't maintain eye contact. Souls pulled to you, then suddenly stepping back. Not because you harmed them, but because your authenticity reflected what they've buried. In this sacred moment, we're going to uncover the truth. Boldly, lovingly, spiritually. We're going to walk through 13 divine signs that your aura is too radiant, too pure, too aligned for the average person to process. You were never meant to dim, because if you've ever been told you're too much, if you've ever stood alone in a room full of noise, if your very being has stirred reactions you didn't expect, know this: it's not rejection, it's recognition. Your energy is holy, your presence is rare, and it's time you honored the sacred power that flows through you. Let's step into the first sign. 1. Your presence draws people in, then shifts their understanding. You're magnetic, not by effort, but by essence. People feel drawn to you, and they don't always know why. But when they get close, they realize you're not what they expected. You're calm, yet intense, soft, but unshakable. You don't play by the old rules. You don't crave the spotlight, yet it moves with you. And that challenges people. It rewrites their idea of confidence, of power, of grace. Your energy causes them to rethink everything they thought they understood about what it means to truly be. 2. You shift the atmosphere without uttering a word. There's no need to raise your voice or step into the spotlight. Your spirit does the speaking. You don't seek attention, yet it always finds you. Conversations pause, eyes subtly turn. People realign themselves without knowing why. It's not about what you wear or how you move. It's the divine weight of your presence. You walk with quiet conviction. And for those who are still seeking themselves, that can be overwhelming. They may call you too much, but truly they're just not familiar with someone who doesn't bend for acceptance. 3. You see into people, not just at them. Your gaze doesn't just notice, it perceives. It's not some mystery or trick. It's the gift of deep spiritual discernment. You feel energy the way others notice tone or body language. People might try to dress up their words, but their frequency tells you everything. That's why many feel exposed in your presence. They can't wear their masks. They can't fake what's not aligned. And some will step back. Not because you've harmed them, but because your light reveals what's hidden. And not everyone is ready to be seen. 4. You speak soul truth, even when it shakes the room. You have no patience for shallow words or painted-over truths. When something is off, you feel it in your spirit, and you name it. When someone wears a mask, your intuition sees beneath it. You don't stay silent for the sake of comfort. You speak with integrity, even when it's inconvenient. And that honesty, rare, raw, and untamed, cuts through illusion. Some will call it too bold, too sharp, but deep down, they know it's sacred truth. And sacred truth has a way of stirring what's been asleep. 5. Your spirit is nourished by stillness, not by crowds. You don't rely on the noise of the world to feel alive. You bloom in the quiet. You find joy in your own presence. Silence isn't empty to you. It's sacred. While others seek company to fill their void, you've discovered the divine fullness of solitude, and that unsettles those who rely on others for their sense of worth. But you know, real power is cultivated in aloneness, and that quiet, unshakable strength is what makes your presence so extraordinary. If you've ever felt out of place, misread, or distanced simply for showing up in your truth, stop questioning your light. You are not too much. You're simply too real for a world still obsessed with surface and masks. When your presence carries truth, it doesn't just enter, it awakens. And while some will honor that, others will hide from it. 6. Your boundaries are sacred and felt. You don't have to raise your voice to be respected. Your vibration does the speaking. You move with quiet purpose. You hold space with intentionality. And people feel that. They sense what is welcome and what is not, without a word being said. You don't invite chaos. You don't allow manipulation. You don't compromise your peace for anyone. That level of self-respect, that clarity of energy, it's rare. And for those who are used to crossing lines, it's unnerving. Your aura says, without a word, I walk with truth and I guard it with grace. Let's keep going. The next signs will help you see yourself even more clearly. 7. You no longer chase energy that isn't yours. You move with alignment now. You no longer reach for people who can't see your value. You're not chasing love or recognition. You've found those things within. You've stopped trying to convince anyone of your worth because your soul has remembered. You were never meant to beg for belonging. You radiate clarity. You've done the inner alchemy. Now, you're rooted in self-honor. You don't lower your vibration to make others comfortable. Some may say you're distant, but truthfully, they just haven't tasted the kind of freedom that comes from self-respect. They wish they had your peace. 8. You awaken people, even when you're silent. You trigger reflection in others simply by being. Your inner harmony reflects their chaos. Your confidence unmasks their doubt. Your authenticity casts light on what they've hidden. And not everyone is ready for that mirror, so some will resist you, some will judge, distance, or even criticize you. Not because you're wrong, but because you reveal what they're not yet ready to face. Remember, their discomfort is not your burden. You are a mirror, and some souls aren't prepared for what they'll see in their own reflection. 9. You've stopped proving. You simply live your truth. There was a time when you sought validation, when your worth was tied to applause. But that version of you has evolved. Now you walk in truth that doesn't need an audience. You're not in competition, you're in alignment. That quiet knowing, that rooted presence, it confuses those who still hustle for approval. They can't figure out how you've become so whole without their permission. But you're not here to explain your peace. You're here to embody it, and that authenticity will always outshine performance. 10. Your presence calls people higher. Whether you realize it or not, your energy is an invitation. Not through words or instruction, but by living as a reflection of growth, inner strength, and divine resilience. You've walked through fire and emerged illuminated. You've alchemized pain into purpose, and people feel that, even in your silence. Your journey inspires others to rise, even when it makes them uncomfortable. Some will resist that call. Others will be deeply moved by it, whether they admit it or not. But know this, you weren't made for the masses. You're not here to blend in or be universally accepted. You're here to radiate with such clarity that it awakens others, even if it startles them at first. If these signs resonate with your spirit, don't dim your light. Keep expanding, keep ascending. Your frequency is not random. It was earned. It was forged in stillness, through healing, and with unwavering standards. Your aura is your soul's whisper, loud, honest, and uncompromising. And while it attracts truth, it will repel anything not ready for it. Let's keep going. These next signs will help you see even more of your sacred reflection. 11. Another's project. You hold your ground. It's not your fault, but when people aren't centered in themselves, your presence can feel disruptive. They may call your confidence arrogance. They may label your discernment as distance, but what they're really reacting to is your light touching their unhealed places. People project from pain, from fear, from misunderstanding. And often, the brightest souls receive the most projections, not because they're flawed, but because they shine where others hide. Remember, you're not here to absorb their wounds. You're here to reflect truth and let the rest return to source. 12. Your silence carries power. You're not one to fill space with empty words. You're comfortable in the pause, in the stillness between moments. Your silence isn't absence, it's presence. It speaks volumes. And when you do speak, the room shifts. Not because you demand it, but because your words are intentional, rooted and real. You don't talk to perform, you speak to connect. And for those who rely on noise to avoid truth, your quietude can feel disarming. Your calmness confronts their chaos. Your stillness echoes with truth. And some aren't ready to hear what rises in its wake. But that's not your burden. That's your gift. 13. You no longer dilute your spirit, and that's your liberation. This is your turning point. You've stopped shrinking, you've stopped softening your brilliance to make others comfortable. You now understand your energy wasn't designed to please. It was created to transform. And transformation is rarely easy. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to elevate, to awaken, to ignite. When you walk into a space, you don't just enter, you shift it. You remind others of their highest selves or their deepest fears, and either way, your presence is divine disruption. By now, you're beginning to see that your aura is more than just energy. It's your essence, your power, a vibration that many aren't prepared to meet. When your aura radiates strength, it's not because you want to intimidate, it's because you've done the sacred inner work. You've healed wounds, risen through storms, and transformed pain into purpose. Those trials didn't break you, they became your foundation. Such energy can't be imitated, diluted, or misunderstood. Let's dive deeper into how your potent aura moves the world around you, and why some souls simply can't bear its truth. You challenge old patterns without lifting a finger. Your very presence invites others to question their beliefs, habits, and mindset. Why? Because you don't live on autopilot like so many do. You don't follow trends, you follow your soul's truth. You don't settle for ordinary, you pursue excellence. This vibration disrupts, it unsettles, it asks people to look inward, face themselves. Some will admire your courage, others will resist it. But either way, you leave a mark. You were never meant to walk a worn path. You're carving your own sacred lane, and those afraid to stand out will never understand why you refuse to conform. You live intentionally. While many drift through life, your steps are deliberate, your words carefully chosen, your time fiercely guarded. You don't waste your energy on what drains you. You pour it into what ignites your soul. You prioritize peace over popularity, growth over ease, purpose over approval. That's why your aura is magnetic. And yes, intimidating. People feel when you know who you are, when you refuse to be anything less than your authentic self. You no longer edit or dim your light to be liked. You've stopped shrinking so others can feel bigger. You don't pretend to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. That kind of raw honesty is rare. It's powerful. It unsettles those still hiding behind masks. Your truth exposes their facade, and rather than confront their own shadows, they'll blame you for being too real, too bold, or too intense. What they're really saying is, you remind me of what I'm too scared to become. You're at peace in your solitude, and that might be one of your greatest strengths. When your aura is strong, you don't need a crowd for validation. You don't require noise to feel alive. You find wholeness in your own presence. And that terrifies those who cannot face themselves alone. They don't understand how you thrive in silence, grow in stillness, and shine without external applause. But this is your true superpower. You are self-sourced, whole, complete within. You didn't wake up one day with this powerful aura. You earned it. Through heartbreaks you faced alone, through battles no one saw, through every time you chose to rise when quitting felt easier. Now your inner light blazes, undeniable, radiant, magnetic, unapologetic. Yes, even too much for some, but that is not your burden. This is your sacred reminder. Protect your energy, honor your evolution, own your power with grace. You no longer beg for belonging. There was a time you sought acceptance, dimming yourself to fit in, silencing your voice to keep peace. But now you see. Any space that asks you to shrink is not a home for your spirit. Your aura no longer asks for permission, it simply arrives. Those aligned with your frequency will recognize you instantly. They won't ask you to soften your light. They will celebrate your brilliance. You no longer chase places, you create them, and you walk away without guilt. A powerful aura demands boundaries. Setting boundaries isn't harshness. It's honoring what your soul can no longer endure. You've learned to leave behind chaos, confusion, and anything that steals your peace. Here's the truth. The stronger your energy becomes, the more sacred your space must be. You're not rude, you're refined. Not cold, you're clear. And yes, those who once took advantage of your openness may call your growth selfish. Let them. You have finally learned the difference between being nice and being noble to your own soul. You inspire without effort. You don't seek to impress. You inspire simply by being authentic. Your resilience shows what's possible. Your presence gives others permission to believe in themselves. You are living proof that darkness does not have to define you. It can refine you. You carry your scars with honor, like medals. You speak with wisdom because pain taught you how. And whether you realize it or not, your energy shifts the very rooms you enter. You don't just exist, you elevate. Your aura is a mirror. To some, your energy will be healing. To others, it will be triggering. Why? Because your light reflects who they truly are, or who they fear they'll never become. Some souls will draw strength from your spirit. Others will step back, not yet ready to face the truth your energy reveals. Stand tall. Your light isn't here to make everyone comfortable. It's here to wake the world up. A final reminder: stay unapologetically you. Don't tone down your brilliance. Don't hide your truth. Don't shrink yourself to fit anyone's mold. You were never made to blend in. You were born to stand out. Your aura isn't for the faint of heart. It's for the bold, the healed, the awakened. And if that feels like too much for some, let them go. Because those meant for you will never ask you to dim your light. They will rise to meet you at your fullest power. Let's be honest, carrying a powerful aura isn't always easy. It's a sacred gift, but sometimes it feels like a burden when others misunderstand you, avoid you, or treat you like an outsider. But now you know the truth. You were never meant to fit in. You were built to stand out. You were never too much. You were never too intense. You were never hard to love. What you are is real. And in a world full of filters, performances, and masks, real is rare. Real challenges, real disrupts. But hear this clearly. That is not your problem to fix. It's not a flaw to shrink away from. It is a confirmation of your purpose. Your energy shakes the comfort zones of those still hiding from their own truth. And that's exactly why you can never afford to dim your light to please others. You were not sent to blend in with the noise. You were sent to awaken souls, to raise the frequency, to embody what true authenticity looks like. Yes, it can be lonely. Yes, you will lose people along the way. But what you gain is priceless. Peace, alignment, and power no one can ever take from you. Let go of needing to be liked. Let go of trying to fit into spaces you've outgrown. You don't owe explanations to those who haven't done the inner work. You don't shrink for places that were never meant to hold your whole being. Here's the truth. People will project their fears onto you. They will call your strength arrogance. They will try to stir chaos in the presence of your peace. But none of that changes who you are. You are powerful. You are intentional. You are magnetic. Not because you try to be, because you have become. and those meant for you will feel it. They won't run. They won't dim your flame. They will rise to meet it. So stop apologizing for your presence. Stop doubting your instincts. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. If your aura is too strong for some, let them go. Their absence is not a loss. It's a sign your frequency is evolving, making room for something greater. A powerful aura never asks for permission. It commands respect by simply existing. Remember this: you are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to be felt by the right ones. Your aura is not too much. It's exactly enough for those ready to see it. Walk boldly, walk gently, and never, ever apologize for the power within you. Your light is not a threat. It is a mirror, and only those brave enough to face their reflection will ever truly see.